you can introduce yourself a bit for those who aren't here, who will look the recording after.
Okay, so my name is Brigita. I've been working for a local action group for 2 years. Now I'm a member of the board and have been a member of the board for 3 years approximately. And I'm there as a youth representative that we have in Latvia. And I've been working with youth in different forms for about 6 years now, and it's my passion, and I'm continuing to work with different youth projects, and now I'm working with school student councils. And I was asked to share our project that we implemented in our local action group, together with the Finnish local action group Ravaka and with the municipality of Vuolainen, which is near Riga in Latvia. Can you see this? Okay. So the project was called Local Action Youth. I'm a fan of wordplay, so Local Action Group and Local Action Youth was somehow connected. It was implemented under the program Erasmus Youth in Action, which is the non-formal learning part of the Erasmus huge program. And it was implemented under Key Action 2, which is Strategic Partnerships for Good Practice, which basically means that different fields are coming together and trying to improve youth work. In our case, there were local action groups coming together with already experienced youth workers, and they could share the practice and learn from each other and so on. The reason why I chose this and why we started to implement the project, this is me 3 years ago, I think. It was in Link project in Hungary. Before that, I was used to going to different interactive youth work seminars and conferences and trainings, and this was very, very different for me. Because it was very based on lectures, on excursions, and there was very little involvement, which I was used to and which we are still emphasizing very much in youth work. So I believe that local action group and this bubble can learn so much from non-formal learning and from youth work, and the opposite. Youth work can learn a lot from labs about entrepreneurship, about local development, and in general, local action groups are about involvement, so we just have to search for different nice methods how to do that. So that was the aim of the project, to search for different interesting methods how to work with youth, and actually how to implement that afterwards also with other groups of society. So yeah. That was me as a member of the council. In Latvia, we have this rule that you have to have a member of, you have to have a youth representative in the council of the local action group. And it often happens that the person doesn't really understand what's going on there, and it's a very formal involvement. So our project consisted of 3 topics. We wanted to look at how to support youth entrepreneurship. We wanted to look at how to encourage youth involvement in decision making, and how to improve communication with youth. And maybe we are not such a big group. Maybe you could share what youth work means for you. If you could just react somehow and unmute yourself and come out of your silence, it would be nice.
Yes, maybe Leotrim, could you define what is youth for you?
Or work with youth.
Hello, do you hear me?
Yes, we hear you now.
Okay, hello to everybody. I am Leotrim Grmiza. People calls me Leo. I am from Kosovo, and I am national coordinator of network for organizations for rural development of Kosovo. In the same time, I am member of the executive board of Partnership for Rural Europe, known as a Prepare network, which is located in Brussels. In meantime, I'm representing Prepare on the steering group of a European Rural Parliament. And I started working with youth work since 2009. And some years after, I decided to join the rural development sector. And currently, I have a solid experience in rural development, and my previous experience on youth work, it is kind of a very good opportunity for me to understand all needs and issues which are related to young peoples.
What does it mean to you? What does youth work means to you?
Youth work to me means something. It is a process of engaging youth activists and young people from different areas within various activities. But the aim and the goal purpose is a common purpose. That is my personal opinion related to youth work.
Amazing, very good, thank you. And Anna?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, nice. I'm working in Keskipiste Leader in Finland as a project activator, and my job is to develop our youth work in leader work. And we have now we have youth, how can I say, youth action team or youth working group. There is 14 young people member in that group, and we have this youth leader fund for our youngsters in our working areas. Youngsters, it's not for our youth action team, but it's for all youngsters, that fund. And our youth action team members decide that fund for these youngsters. So I think that for me, that youth work is that something that we can take young people to involve these decision makers and so on. So I think that this is a very important work for leader groups.
Thank you so much. Katrina, do you want to share or?
Yes, I agree with what was said about the youth work for our colleagues, that the youth work is something that should be meaningfully included in the work in general. It's not something exterior or something aside of what's happening. It's something that must be inside and taking a real part of actions.
Yes, nice. I'm really happy to hear these kind of answers. I know that sometimes the word combination youth work can be confusing. In Latvia, we are trying to change it to work with youth or something like that. So it's not about just about employability. It's an important part of it. But so from the Latvian youth law, youth work is planned and practical activities which are youth-oriented. This is the most important word of this sentence. They are youth-oriented, and youth are part of the process. Activities are also meant as a big topic. They are not just specific several activities. It's a mix of different policies and initiatives and activities all together. This is just not, it's not a one-time thing. We have this law for quite a long time now, and in Latvia, youth is until 25 years old. In Europe, it's until 30, and then there are some other ways. And then the beginning age is 13. So it's somehow a part of education. It's a non-formal learning part, which means that it's based on the initiatives of young people, and it's based to develop those initiatives. It's focused on involvement, as you already mentioned, and on the participation. So there are two sides or more sides in society. When there is this power structure which still exists between young people and adults, there is power structure still. We have to have someone who is able to make an effort to involve, and we also have to have empowered young people who can participate. It's about developing competences. We have lifelong learning competences, which are in all society groups, but they're also very important in youth work. It's a holistic approach to the development of the person. And it's about high quality leisure time, which is again based on the needs and interests of young people, and they're developed and oriented on them. Of course, young people is such a diverse group. They are people. We wouldn't do this with 50-year-old men. We wouldn't assume that they're all the same. But there are some things that are mostly similar to young people. There are some barriers that are similar to all of them. So there is still this separate field where we are trying to include them, and it's not possible that we will just put everyone together and everything will happen. We still have to work separately so that we can empower and encourage them. What was very important in our project was involvement. It started as one of the 3 topics, but it turned out to be this meta topic, which was important in every action that we did. Involvement of young people in the planning processes and trying to search for different methods how to involve them better. For example, on the left side, you can see how we were going and interviewing young people on streets. We were asking them simple questions. We were not focusing on big issues that were in our strategies. We were trying to take out the essence of it and actually talking about it with them in real life. And involvement of all partners was also important in searching for different methods how to do that. So on the right side, we have partners meeting where the project road is implemented as a visual method. So people can literally step in the project and put in their effort and put in their activities. They are not just sitting around the table, they are always involved. Their ideas are asked and listened to and answered to. And it's based on just respect for people. You are listening to them, you are agreeing with them, you are talking with them, which is a basic principle of society. We were trying to come up with different new methods and different innovations. Like, that's a big word, but anyway. So on the left side, this is our brochure of our project or booklet, or how can you call it. And the main aim of it is also to help people talk, to encourage them. You have different questions regarding youth, and you can talk to other people about it. And inside of this play thingy, you can see what were the activities of our project. So it's not just to show that the project exists, but it's always about asking and discussing with others as well. And on the right side, you can see what happens when you encourage young people and when you show that they are valued. One of the young people were a moderator of discussion in entrepreneurial cafe that we held. and he just his ideas just opened up, and he created this mentoring process in pictures, and he helped others in opening their ideas. So when you let young people do their ideas and you let them open up, something magical can happen. And of course, it's about other people as well in different age groups. It was very, very, very based on learning. The aim of the project was for us to learn from each other and to develop ourselves to be able to work with the young people. And it was based on non-formal learning, which means that we were learning from each other. We were reflecting and learning all the time, which is also something that other fields could take. That every time we were putting our own learning aims forward, and we were valuing each other's opinions and experiences. And to open people up, you still need different interactive methods and visuals and so on. This is the cooperation, importance of cooperation. A year after that sleeping picture that I showed before, it was Link in Hungary. The next year, which was last year, we went to Finland for the next link, and that one was totally different. We had our own learning station where people could share the methods that they are implementing in youth work. They could discuss among themselves. They could see the ladder of cooperation, the ladder of participation. Everything was based on trying to involve different perceptions, visuals, hearing, walking, interacting, to open people up. On the right side, you have a method which is called design thinking, where we are creating prototypes for our entrepreneurship ideas. This was a training for youth workers and local action group workers, and to understand how to support young people in their entrepreneurship, they had to try it by themselves first. So the idea of design thinking is that you have the idea first, you have the prototype, then you test it, which often lacks, like you often don't have this testing part in other situations. And then you come back and you have ideas again, and you improve your product. So this testing part, test your ideas, test your events, test your project competitions together with young people, is very, very important, and something to learn from, also in other fields. In the end of the project, we created a practical handbook. In the beginning, it was meant to be just some small summary of things that we did, but in the end, it became something bigger, something that you can actually use, something that you can cut out. Yeah. So for us, it was important to include the big picture. We include sections on what non-formal learning is, what design thinking is, what youth work is. So we include this big picture, not just the methods. And we try to formulate it in a simple way for people who haven't done youth work before, or who haven't come up with non-formal learning before. It's a very practical book as well. Even if it's just electronic form, you can still print it out, you can still cut it, you can still use it in very different ways. It's full of methods, it's full of suggestions. And it's also very interactive. We were thinking that there's no point to have a book which will just sit on a shelf. In this book, you can write in, it asks you questions, it continues the idea that everyone can be a part of the process with their ideas. And it consists of introduction about the project, It tells you about key concepts such as non-formal learning and design thinking and ladder participation. It also gives different methods and activities that you can use for getting to know each other, for, I don't know, discussing the priorities of strategies, different interesting interactive methods. It also includes youth leader, actually, because the other partner was from Finland, so we included that as well as a good practice. And there is also a check out more part where you can see some other websites, or you can also collect your own website there and write in the book. Throughout the book, there are also frequently like for your information parts that are about methods and about some theoretical subjects. There are quotes from the participants, and there are also resources like the ones that you can cut out of the book, and there are also some suggestions for other resources that you can use. And this is one of the methods. So when you think about the development of the town, sometimes what you have in mind at first is people sitting around the table and just discussing. We didn't want to do that, so we have different cards where the town ingredients are, and we also did that on the training where the participants have to build the town. Actually, they have to build it from all the available objects around them. They are building it, they are stepping into it symbolically, they are thinking about their own town and how it can develop. It's a possibility to present it to others as well. And then in the simulation game, you can also choose your role as an inhabitant of the town, and you can choose your challenge. So to step out that bubble that you have and to understand how different the needs can be and how different the challenges and barriers can be. So we have like a lot of these cards, but you can also use all the materials that you have around you. But the important part is to step off that simple meeting table and to open up your mind, and it can help not just with young people but with other groups as well to better imagine what's going on. We also discussed how to film things, because filming is very important now, not just in youth work but in other fields as well. So you have 10 tips there in the book. Practical tips. We also discussed that to be able to defend your opinion, to be able to be a part of involvement, you have to know how to. So we have different methods of argumentation. We have logical fallacies mentioned there that you shouldn't allow them in your argument to be taken seriously. So that's one important part, that for young people to be able to defend their opinion and to be a part of coffee with politicians or youth dialogue events or any kind of events where their opinion is asked, they have to be confident in what they say and how they present it, because there's this power structure. And this is very, very important and favorite, one of the favorite parts for me. This is ladder participation, developed a long time ago by Roger Tart, still used in different forms and still discussed by different researchers. This is a way how you can evaluate your everyday work, not just with youth, but every type of target group. You are evaluating whether you actually involve them. So first 3 steps is not involvement, and starting from the 4th step, you can actually talk about the involvement. So first step could be that young people are invited for some kind of event to express their opinion, but actually the reasoning for other people to invite them has been something different. So we don't like to be manipulated, but with youth it happens very often. And they are very often also asked as a decoration. We have media coming, let's invite 5 young people. They have no idea what they're going to. They have no idea what their influence can be. They're just there to be a decoration, to show that, yes, we are working with young people. And then there's this tokenism or formality part, where you kind of involve them, but actually they don't really have a choice. They can't say, they don't have a say in decision when to meet, why to meet, how to meet. When they express their opinion, it's kind of listened to, but there are no other methods to actually let them speak. That often happens in voluntary work, which I am very angry about, because the person always needs to know what are their roles. They always need to know what they can do, and they shouldn't be just assigned things. Starting from the 4th step, they are assigned. They still can't really choose what they are doing, but at least they are informed about their influence, about why they are involved. This is the basic step that you can start from. The first 3 steps, please never do them with any type of person. So the first step can be a start for you to practice involvement. And the last step, so the others you can also read. I don't think we have too much time for that. I can also send you the book, and this is also available in different other resources. This is very popular concept. The last step actually is doing things together. So if we talk about involvement of youth, the ideas or the projects or programs come from them, but the decision making is shared, and decisions are shared, responsibility is shared. It's not like they are just doing something on their own. For the development of community, we have this working together, which is the last step, and which is very interesting in youth work, because often we think that when young people are doing everything by themselves and adults are in a supportive role, it's the best. But no, it's just the second best step. The best one is when they come to you and actually say, let's work together. So this power balance is changed. They are the ones who come and initiate the cooperation, but it's still done together, and we are on an equal ground. It takes a long time. I've never experienced this, but it's something to strive for. And what I wanted to say is this quote that we have from the project is that youth are impressive when they are encouraged and empowered. And that can go to other people as well. And this is one of the covers of our book. We have 3 different covers, 3 different quotes. And last but not least, this was all made possible by Erasmus Plus program. I love the program, not just because it's a way to have some financial resources to develop your ideas, but also because of the principles that Erasmus Plus program carries. It's the principle of non-formal learning, of involvement, of social inclusion, working together, learning from each other. All of those principles are very important and something to learn from. So under the program, there are strategic partnerships, which this was part of that. There are also some smaller projects, such as youth exchanges or youth workers trainings. Now there's the next cycle of youth dialogue that you can be a part of. It will happen all around Europe. One of the priorities actually for this cycle of youth dialogue is involving rural youth. That's one of the priorities. The other ones are education and employability. And then there's a program, European Solidarity Corps, where you can encourage young people to participate. They can also implement solidarity projects, which are local initiatives. Then the soonest deadline for it is in an hour, which I am going back to. And the second is October 1st. That you can prepare for, and it's quite easy to fill out the budget form there. It's more easy than Leader, but then you have to pay attention to involvement of young people, and all the other questions are quite difficult in a way, but it's also rewarding and nice. And if you have a national agency in your country, you can search for application form there. For partner countries, which are outside of Europe, they can be partners in the projects implemented by other countries. Yeah. Any questions? I've been talking a lot.
Yes, don't be shy. If you have some questions, Brigita is here to give the answer about the project or about youth involvement in general.
No, I do not have any concrete question. Thank you for the presentation. We saw very good experiences and activities that you and your colleagues did. And I hope that we will have your contacts and we will keep in touch for upcoming activities. And we will meet in the ERP gathering to see more concrete possibilities of cooperation, even within the Erasmus events and activities or in other international events.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the program, and I'm a fan of youth work, so you can always let me know and ask me questions.
Where are you living now?
Huh?
Where are you living now? I'm asking.
In Latvia.
Ah, Latvia, okay. Because I will be in Latvia in the beginning of June for the rural parliament there, so we can meet and see any opportunity of cooperation.
Yes, Brigita is helping us with Latvian Rural Parliament organization.
Ah, yeah, perfect.
We're definitely there.
Perfect. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I don't know why the others didn't attend the webinar.
Because it's a holiday time. I think that's why. Because free day tomorrow, and there was a lot of automatic answers that they are out of office this week. So I think that explains the fact. But we will send the recording to all youth network participants by encouraging them also to share it with their members. I think it's important. Yes, thank you, Brigita, for your presentation. I think we heard a lot of good things. Yes, with the work with youth involvement.
Yes, thank you very, very much. And let me know if anything else, but I will leave you for the deadline of the project.
Okay, fingers crossed.
Okay, bye.
Bye. Yes, for everyone else it's staying, so we are only 3 of us and all those people who will see us after in the recording. So I won't be long. Brigita had a beautiful idea to initialize some kind of time to whimper, time of complaining within webinars, so that we can identify the problematic issues within the youth work and within the work of organizations of youth, their involvement in policy making and inclusion in in other structures. I think that will be something that we will announce for the next webinar too, to think about the main problematic issues, and we will let everyone to express them, so that it's yes, we could call it time of complaining or time of whimpering or something like that, so that we could identify and make a table of every problematic issue. About the European Rural Youth Parliament, which will be held in November, just after European Rural Parliament, from 11th to 13th of November in Cantabria. It's not too far from Asturias, where will be the European Rural Parliament. As it is a pillar, a youth event of youth pillar of European Rural Parliament, we have identified that for many people and many stakeholders, it seems that they see it like something apart. European Rural Youth Parliament isn't something that is really included in the European Rural Parliament. That I think we have some work to do with that, so that it's really clear that it's a part of European Rural Parliament movement, and not something that is added to it. It's within. So if you have any ideas, suggestions maybe about how to better do that, we will work on it, and we wait your mails, your ideas, everything, as well as ideas for the next webinars. We thought about relieving some problematic issues like job opportunities in rural areas for young people, and how youth networks could help them. That's an idea. So if you have any ideas about things that could interest you and your partners and colleagues, then welcome. We are waiting your mails on to the email address of European Rural Youth Parliament. Sorry, my phone. Okay, then thank you everyone for joining us. I will send the recording, and do not hesitate to send it out to everyone else, to your member organizations if you have, and members and colleagues, so that they are also informed. I think that the presentation of Brigita and the ideas in there was really worth it. Okay, thank you a lot, and I will send you information about next webinar, and I hope that there will be more participants so that we can have this time of complaining.
No, it's not a problem. Thank you.
Thank you.
You.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.